It is 5:30 on the East Coast. It's 2:30 on the West Coast. It is the 12th of November in the year of our Lord 2023, Season 5, Episode 16, 181 times. You have been welcomed to the Cheap Popcast, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. Live from various locations, because that's how we do it here on StreamYard. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Cheap Popcast, and we're going to have some time off after today. We apologize for that, but there's a lot of stuff going on before we can get the wheels back on this thing. Speaking of getting the wheels back on this thing, Don will join us momentarily. He's having some technical issues and will be joining us momentarily. I probably said that twice, and that's okay, so that's just me reaffirming it. But instead, that way from me is my co-host and a man whose shirt is blending with his surroundings. There's not a whole lot going on there. He is Alex.
Oh, I'm just a disembodied head of misery today. So, and I do apologize. I had to start on mute because my dogs have no sense of timing.
It looks like we're on about a 3-second delay, so this ought to be very interesting. So, wait a minute. You reacted in real time, so maybe we've caught up. Or not.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, no, we're not. Okay. So, we're going to start in with the headlines as we do. A very strange interview quote this week from one Harvey Whippleman. As you may know, Harvey Whippleman, portrayed in Young Rock, but he is also a producer on the show, says this week that once the strike is over, Young Rock will resume production, but it will not be on NBC. So I don't know if that means it's going to Peacock, if they're shopping it around a la Heels. I have no earthly idea. Alex.
Let's just say that I don't think we're going to get too far into it on this show, but I did have a personal conversation about this with somebody who works on the show as well. And according to what I was told, they are going back into production. There has been nothing said to them exactly what the plan is, except for the fact that the show will continue. So whether it stays with Universal and goes on Peacock, like you said, or they wind up shopping it around somewhere else, the leaning is that it will be going somewhere else.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see how that all works out. For those of you that were fans in NXT UK of Jazzy Gabert, or Gabbert, depending on who you ask, she has retired from in-ring competition. She said she has passed the torch, but she did specify in-ring to my knowledge. So maybe she's going backstage to produce or things of that nature.
She's also a very accomplished CrossFit Games contestant as well. So there's probably a level to that too.
Okay. Her and the Seth Rollins CrossFitting it up.
Exactly.
And we did see the schedule for WrestleMania weekend this year. There's layers to this.
Yeah.
No, this is one you may not be aware of.
Well, there's a couple of things that we have in this ilk, but please go ahead.
The Hall of Fame will be after SmackDown again this year. So those of you that will be going to the Wells Fargo Arena, hold on to your butts because you're going to be there for a while. We know from personal experience. Also, I'll be out of town that weekend.
I think all of us may be in various forms just based on when it is.
Yeah, we may have to figure something out that we can get together virtually and watch this thing, or depending on how the whole thing happens. You all right over there?
Yeah, the chair behind me now has an animal on it, and I wasn't prepared to see it.
Fair enough. Interesting. Hello, my friend.
So that people don't think it's an imaginary animal.
Why is Uncle Bob in a box? Got an interesting note and this is weird that this is a release for Black Friday, but it is a release for Black Friday. Beyond the Mat's going to get a Blu-ray release. Okay,
interesting.
Funny. The little head's just popping
up. So Beyond the Mat, you mean the behind-the-scenes documentary that kind of launched everything being out in the open?
That is correct.
Yes. Great movie, though.
I saw it theatrically.
Yeah, I very much am a big fan. I've been talking about wanting to show Sean, who is new to wrestling that exact picture. So this is well timed for me.
And you have a Blu-ray player, which is helpful.
That is true.
And this other thing came up this week, and I don't know that this is necessarily a story. Hope Don's okay. It's kind of a long time to reboot here.
It might have been code for something else.
Maybe, I don't know. WWE now strongly considering putting advertisements on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
A la, oh, there he is right there. There he is. Let's get him back in this thing here.
Now, to clarify what you were talking about, Vince McMahon notoriously liked a clean ringside, didn't want anything in. Nick Khan likes money. So I figure I'll... did you have any particular notes on that one? I only saw the headlines on it.
Not really. It's just that Vince has come back around on it, but he's selling a bunch of stock, so he got that going for you.
8.4 million shares if you're playing the home game.
I got that on me. Just think if one person had that, they would have to buy 8.4 million shares. But I'm going to be interested to see if this looks like the size outside of a NASCAR, or if it's going to be kind of like AEW's been doing for a while, where you just see DraftKings on the corners of each mat. I mean, I don't rightly care, but the problem is going to be when you've got to make multiples of these and you have blading and coloring going on in matches.
But the other aspect is we already had the trial run on this existing, because apparently one of the big things they want to do is not actually on the mat. It's the video board that has become the back wall of the ring area having advertisements on it. And we've already seen them do that for Mountain Dew, for Takis, for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Was it before the Rumble? Was it last year's SummerSlam? Or was the Rumble really the first time we saw that?
The Rumble was the first time we saw it very much involved with a match, but we have seen smaller glimpses of it prior.
And I want to say we saw Cinnamon Toast Crunch at Payback when it was in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
They did it there.
Yes.
I mean, they got the video board. You might as well be using them.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about getting anything on them because you just change the picture digitally.
Monday Night Raw, I got a couple of questions. And Don, we're going to change the format here in a little while, and you're going to see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
My first question. We had this 4 corners match for the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Brian's here. Good to see you, brother. Wouldn't the graphic for the participants in that been better if it was done after the Adam Pearce video package where he described each one of them?
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed like it was out of order to me.
Yeah, because you want to have a little story on each person and then show the big.
Oh, now they're all here, and
they're all there. Versus here are the 4, and now let me tell you a story of it.
And apparently, that was not the right ending to that match. Ricochet apparently was having concussion-like syndromes. He was supposed to kick out and didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He, from what I'm told, he is okay. He has been cleared. It was not a concussion. To what we're, unlike someone else we'll talk about here in a minute, who is in concussion protocol with the company. It was supposed to be a double kick out, and then Miz thought he had won. And I believe Ricochet was supposed to win that match, but they kind of booked it on the fly when he didn't move.
I don't think Ricochet was supposed to win that one, because I still believe that his near future is a U.S. title program with Logan Paul. But at the same time, yes, there was some wonkiness. If we can back up just a second, we moved on a little bit quicker than I was hoping for. But with showing people and then giving them the story, I can understand it from a concept. Like, Rob, you've been a big proponent of every show is somebody's first.
Yep.
This could also be their little precursor of here's the people we're about to talk about, rather than feel like we're just jumping into the story for people who may be less involved.
Well, and if I can take that one step further, apparently the cat did.
On my back.
Yep. Oh. To be able to do it in a manner in which it doesn't seem like we're consistently re-explaining the same thing over and over again. I like the way Adam Pearce did it, but I just felt it was a little out of order. But they did the same thing last week in NXT with the breakout tournament, or 2 weeks ago in the thing. Zoe Stark, honestly did not see that coming.
I don't like what I'm about to say, but also her winning makes me feel meh. Like, of all the people involved or that it could have been, I'm pretty sure she was near the bottom, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. I did not see that coming.
But remember the last time we had something like this, and it was not hindering Jinder.
I'm keeping an open mind here.
Yeah.
It's not. My thing is with Zoe Stark, she has the technical ability, in my opinion. It's the charisma part of it that needs the work. Like, I see where she's trying to go, but it's not getting there.
I think, and Don, I apologize. We've gone a little bit. If you wanted to say anything on this, please feel free.
No, I'm just listening in right now. I got a feeling on her too, but go ahead. Go first.
Understood. But with this Zoe Stark, she actually kind of fit perfectly into that role as a number 2 with Trish. We just knew that the Trish was a short-term thing, despite being a legend. I genuinely feel like Zoe Stark is somebody who would have greatly benefited from being in Damage Control.
Hello.
Oh, that's so many claws.
Say hi, Uncle Rob. I want to be on the show. We have Kitty Takeover. Brian says the last time he watched Goldberg was still actively wrestling. Well, technically, that could have been like 3 years ago.
Well, no, because he was just crap the whole time. Wrestling would be something else that requires skill. Anyways, but Zoe Stark is somebody who would have benefited greatly being in something like Damage Control, or say being a number 2 within the Judgment Day. It would have suited her better to let her, a la Dominic Mysterio, learn how to be more of the character rather than just let's run out somebody who has a cool theme song and spins.
And it's kind of as met with this other person as I am. I was kind of intrigued by the thought of a tag team with her and Shayna Baszler. Like, that fit for me. And I think
perfect sense.
Elevated for both of them. But, I'll give it the shot. She's got the title shot. What she does with it, via Contios, my friend.
Okay.
And before I go any further, Don, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Does she have ability? Yeah, she does. I'm the first to say it. But do I see anything of that special it in her? Or I would say put her up in a thing with Becky and Charlotte in the main event of WrestleMania at this time. I just don't see it. I think she has to add something more to it before she gets to that next level, I think, on her. Again, she has ability. Can I see? Give her a shot, see how she is. I won't give her the title. Maybe give her a shot, see how she performs in there.
Don, let me take one of the things you were just saying and phrase it in a question, and I want to see if it goes.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Zoe Stark does not have any character work, and that's what's missing for you?
She has a character, but I don't think it's a character that most people care about.
See, and I'm struggling to think of a character for her at all, because it's like, okay, she's tough. Run her out there.
Because you already have Shayna Baszler being the tough lady there who goes around and kicks. You can't have two unless you put them in a tag team going for the titles, and that's about it.
But, like Rob just said. Yeah. But that's for me, the real aspect is this feels distinctly like before the last time we had a bunch of cuts. And this is going to be along the lines of Rhea can work with anybody. Let's see what Zoe Stark has, and it's going to be a make or break for her. Like, are they going to see you as a contender, or are you about to be Natalya farting? That's really what this feels like to me.
The ending of Raw, we found out. I don't want to say we found out who the two teams in War Games is going to be, because I feel like there might actually be 3 War Games in this deal.
That is a fair point, and there have been reports that we're supposed to get more people involved, but they have not rumored a third match yet. So that would be a clean poll for you.
Because it feels like you're putting a bunch of Raw people in this thing. So you'd have a Raw one, a SmackDown one, and a women's. Mm-hmm. Which I'm okay with, because What do I like better than one War Games match? 3. And I'm okay with this. Because as you know, and we've said it billions of times on this show, War Games is one of my favorite gimmick matches of all time. I own the Blu-ray set for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I've watched it at least twice in the last year. And if you know anything about me watching the same Blu-ray set twice in less than a 12-month period is not something I do much. But
it is a ringing endorsement.
I love War Games so much, I can just watch it over and over and over again because all of the moving parts and the way they tell the story, it's just one of the best ways to do it, in my opinion. I do not want this soiled with a third team in War Games because we talked about this last week. I do not like the 3-team War Games match. I just don't. I want 2 rings, 2 teams, done. You want to do what? But a third team, get a fourth team. It's just like movie trading company. You buy 2, you get 1 free. Oh, you buy 1 more. Well, now I got 4, then I get 2 free. It's the same basic math.
But the other thing that you have in this, and I feel like this setup was better than what we've had recently because there were multiple years where it felt like, okay, what's on the line? And the point is, it's War Games. It's supposed to be an end-all blow-off. And you know what? With the absolute insanity at the end and Adam Pearce selling it, kudos to him.
Yeah, he did.
This is exactly what you want from a War Games. You want people that hate each other. You want to see them beat the holy out of each other.
And I agree with Rob 100%. I don't like a 3-team. 2 teams. That's it. I don't like a third team.
And go back 2 years and tell me 2 years ago that there's going to be another person saying that phrase that I'm okay with outside of Steven Regal, and I will call you a dirty, filthy liar.
That is true.
But dear God, like you said, Adam Pearce sold the crap out of that thing. I thought he was going to pop a vein in his forehead by the end of it.
I thought he had to take his glasses off because the veins were starting to push the arms out.
And you can ask my wife. She was here as I was watching it. And this was me leading up to it. Say it.
Say the word.
Say it, Pearce. Say it. Say it.
Now, do you think it's going to be a 4-on-4, or are they going to get somebody else to make a 5-on-5?
The rumor is that it will be 5-on-5. The rumor I have heard at this point on the heel side, it will be Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if you don't have a SmackDown War Games, there's only one guy you add to the face side.
You mean somebody who's been added to a War Games unexpectedly before, too?
Mm-hmm.
With everybody saying.
Oh, you went a different direction on me.
Yes, I did.
I know where Alex, you're going from.
Well, I know where Alex is going too. Yeah. I'm not putting any stock in that man until he's on my TV.
Oh, no. I'm talking about KO.
That's not who I'm referring to.
I know. That's why I said you went a different direction than I was expecting.
I went another direction again.
Right. But no, because what I'm saying is KO was the surprise participant in a War Games in NXT already. That's what I was referring to.
And yeah, Undisputed. So when they you think they'll do a women's then on the other one? Do men, because it's going to be Damage Control with those 5.
There's going to be at least 2, if not 3.
Because I thought they were getting. I thought
if there's going to be a third, that it would be a SmackDown specific one.
Well, you had the 5 members of Damage Control in there. Now the new people added. Then you had 3 getting beat down. I thought maybe a tag team would come in. Then you have 5-on-5. Boom. Then Nick Aldis comes out and tries to do an Adam Pearce. Blah blah blah. But I think it's going to be those 5 on one side of a War Game. Then the 3 they're going to have 2 other to be on the side with the faces.
That's already basically been confirmed. Yes.
Yeah, I think you might assume a little much too. I think there's another shift between now and War Games in the women's division. I don't think Bayley is part of Damage Control by the time that happens.
See, I think there's one of 2 ways. I see exactly what you're talking about, Rob, but I think there's either the possibility that this is what breaks her off from Damage Control, or it's exactly like you said, and it'll be before that. Jumped a little ahead on us, didn't we?
A little bit.
Why not? Nah.
So you remember when we talked about NWA going to the CW?
Uh-oh.
I'm not clicking the button. I'm not clicking the button yet.
I'm looking for the right. I don't see the. Did the button move on me? I think the button moved on me. I don't have the right button anymore. Hold on. I gotta see if I can.
I just want to clarify, we have never seen where the button is.
May not be the NWA right now because next October, SmackDown or NXT moves to the former home of SmackDown, kind of, sort of, in a way, in a roundabout way. Because back in the day, SmackDown was on UPN. UPN combined with the WB to become the CW, which next October is now the home of NXT Kevin Bacon.
NXT Kevin Bacon.
Don, did you miss that reference?
I get it.
Do bits anymore?
I get it. I get Kevin Bacon.
I don't do bits anymore.
What?
Because of Don Ford Bit Killer. That's why.
What? I just said I got it. How did I kill the bit? How did I kill the bit on that?
Because it took you like an extra minute and a half to get there.
So you just said Kevin Bacon. I said within 20 seconds. I went like this. I said I get it. Then I went like this. I'm sorry I didn't say it fast enough.
But yes, the NXT show is moving to the CW next October, with SmackDown now moving to USA. I saw somebody post something, and I was like, I appreciate that you want to try to break news. But when you're the only person saying it, maybe you're not breaking news. Somebody trying to start the rumor that now Raw's going to FX. Oh, by the way, I need to go back a little bit. The thing about War Games. The circle is now complete.
Please elaborate.
Please.
Because Cody is now in War Games.
Mm-hmm.
The circle is now complete. Because
actually, you know,
Dustin was in one early on, if I remember correctly. Don, is that correct?
Let me look.
Because Dustin was in the original 2, but I think Dustin was with him either in the second or third one.
I thought it was third or fourth. Depends on what you consider the second.
If I remember, outside of the two of them, that team was real spare.
Well, at the time,
you're talking WWE or Blood and Guts.
No, it was WCW.
No, this was NWA.
Well, it was WCW at that point.
See, I thought it was still NWA before then.
The original was NWA. By the time Dustin was involved, I believe it was a WCW match.
I'm checking. Hold on. See what I get.
I know. While Don's looking that up, speaking of WrestleMania weekend, which we were doing before, Stand and Deliver now set for April 6th, which again will probably be a noon or probably a 1 p.m. Eastern start time. So you got that going for you, which is nice. And we talked a minute ago about concussions. The person that currently the person currently in concussion protocol is one Fallon Henley, and I like her.
Mm-hmm.
Her a lot.
Yeah. I have one big issue, and it's not her fault.
Okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Don.
Dustin did one with Dusty in '94.
That's the one I was talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
But was that like the third or fourth one? Do you see them chronologically?
No, I'm just looking at a thing where we're talking about the history of them and stuff like that.
I'm sure it's on my Blu-ray set, but it's in the
yeah.
Go ahead, Alex. One thing that is not
found. Oh, I found the chronological one. That's why I was going. But the thing about Fallon Henley's. Oh, excuse me. I was mistaking her for Kiana James. No, Fallon Henley's great, especially with how she fits within the dynamic with Briggs and Jensen. I apologize. I was thinking of Kiana James' entrance. Redact that.
Let's see here. Should the Heritage Cup even be a thing at this point, or can we just turn it into a belt?
I think the fact that it's not a belt is what they're leaning on. I think they're leaning into it having its UK origins because outside of WWE, every single company uses a cup or trophy in some form.
But not this actively.
No, not this actively at all. It's an annual thing at best, but...
Because even the Owen, they get a belt.
I think what they would rather do... I got an interesting one for you.
Okay.
So say they don't want to do a belt because everything else is a belt. They don't want to do a ring because that's been done numerous times and is actively done for the last 5 years by one person on this panel's leader.
That is correct.
What if, going back to my past, they do a big, like, World Series of Poker style bracelet?
Not a fan.
Okay. But I'm trying to think of something like, because the idea of the championship title is it's big, it's gold, or it's premium metal, and it's something somebody would actually want. So what can you give me outside of a trophy, ring, or belt that somebody would want without being redundant? What?
A chain.
Well, here's the thing. If we do, the ring's a little bit different, but here's the thing which I think it's kind of an offset with like MJF. If you have a belt or a trophy, they're big and the whole crowd could see it.
I mean, that's a fair point.
That is a very good point.
Would be, how you walk out down the aisle, you were hanging up the belt, you're holding up the belt, what have you, or you're holding up the trophy. Everybody can kind of see that in a big arena versus if you're just holding up a little bracelet, it's kind of hard to see something like that.
Yeah, but MJF can do that bit where he holds his hand up to the camp.
Yeah, I know, but still that's why I think bracelets aren't that popular in that kind of situation.
Versus, and I said a neck chain, Don. What about a neck chain?
If it's big enough, if you're like Flavor Flav with the clocks.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe.
Dustin's first War Games was at Wrestle War May 17th, 1992, without Dusty.
Oh.
During Wrestle War in Jacksonville, Florida.
There you go. Good call.
But that's also like the 8th one that was televised.
Can we talk about the end of NXT for a minute?
We can always.
Do we have to?
Oh, Don, you were late with your bit this week.
He was busy.
It still said before you start talking about it.
I'll give him credit because it was still within the segment.
It was within the segment. That is a strong
within the segment proper. Therefore, he gets credit. He only gets partial credit, though.
Okay.
Dustin Fall Brawl 94 was when they first teamed in War Games.
I love the name Fall Brawl. I love that logo with the big tank.
Don.
Yeah. Listen.
Oh no! You were saying something else.
No.
Do we have to? And you were going into it.
The do we have to thing.
No.
I understand what the crowd was doing. I get it. It's part of his bit. But if your name is Trick, is that really the best chant for you? Especially given the origins of that particular chant, which already make me uncomfortable.
Sir, you are trying to use real logic in wrestling. But that NXT,
that chant already makes me uncomfortable as it is.
Well, no, and I understand that, but I think you're on an island there. It's a recognizable phrase, so they lean into it. And let's be honest, the NXT crowd, not exactly a bastion of creativity.
I give them some of the stuff they did in Halloween Havoc was creative, and I give them that.
You mean the stuff they were prompted to say?
I don't care who did it.
Okay.
It happened.
Yeah.
It could have been one guy in the crowd. They could have had cue cards. Don't care. It happened, and I didn't see how it happened.
Fair.
I don't have to know how the sausage is made. NWA still denying that they have it. They still say they have a TV deal, but they're still not saying who.
Yeah, there'll be an interesting aspect of what it could potentially be after that.
Speaking of which.
What?
Oh, dear.
Have you seen this? I guess they're doing this at their tapings. The VIP meet and greet with Corgan.
I don't know what you're referring to at this point.
It's $35 a head.
Okay.
Affordable.
You get to hang out with him You get a picture. However, everybody that buys the VIP is all in one picture with him standing in the background. I have seen what the picture looks like.
In the background?
He's just like standing on a chair behind everybody like, what's up?
So he's trying to puppet master everybody who bought the VIP?
And I mean, like, I appreciate that it's cheaper than your average VIP experience.
That is true.
You still get a picture with them, but
there's a lot of screaming on this show this week.
Yeah.
He is the Eric Cartman of rock music. Don't get me wrong. But man, I saw one of these pictures and it was like they went, all right, everybody, here we go. 1, 2, and then Corgan jumped in, got the picture, and jumped right back out. That's what it looked like. I was like, come on, man.
It's like, I'm going to be walking by at this time, snap the picture.
Well, and apparently his current tour with Smashing Pumpkins is interfering with his ability to take meetings that he needs to take. It's a very strange situation from the things I'm reading. I hope what I'm reading is wrong. I really do. Because we talked about this last week. I love that the NWA exists. I love that Sweet Charlotte still is out there getting it done. Oh, and by the way, Alex, one of the, I'm going to say this very cryptically. Nobody's going to care. Something we talked about on that front the other night was historically correct.
I'll need some clarification off.
Big Gold did debut in '86.
Thank you. Okay.
I did Cody Hawkins reached out to me and I asked him and I was like, hey, he's like, oh, nope. Flair 86. I said, okay, there we go. Mariah May is all elite. The Bunny is not. And from what I'm reading, neither are the Butcher or the Blade at this point.
Oh, they're gone too.
Contracts ran out.
But we also have expectation and rumor of where they are now.
I have not heard. Please elaborate.
So I don't want to jump too far ahead. I just want to clarify. Are we going to cover Wednesday first?
Yeah, Don. So this is where we're going to make some changes. We're going to do all of AEW at one time.
Okay.
Just because with SmackDown being kind of its own animal, I decided not to do Raw and SmackDown together. But since Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision all kind of run together, I'm like, let's just kill it all at one time. So that way we don't feel like we're going back and forth. Does that make sense? Okay. Don looks
so
like
we'll put a pin in it for Thursday.
Looks like he's hosting an old school like creature feature with the way he's lit right now.
I do have a cool shirt though.
Oh, I just got a cease and desist from Jim Bob.
I got a cool shirt.
Well, I was actually going to feed to that at the end, but sure, let's jump into it now.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Okay.
All right.
The Bunny, the Butcher, the Blade.
So that's what I was saying we'll save for Thursdays.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a tweet, but it didn't make it look like she was headed that way.
We'll get into it when we get to it.
You're going to go there as a trio?
Or we won't.
Let's get there.
We won't wait.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
So all the rumor is right now the Bunny has started an OnlyFans, whether or not that will remain and she will be the next iteration of Mandy Sachs, or if she will be going with the Butcher and the Blade, who will be debuting at the next Impact pay-per-view.
Next Impact or next TNA? Because we have one of each coming up.
Well, it is what's the name of it again? I'm
Final Resolution or Hard to Kill?
At Final Resolution.
Okay, which is the same day as Deadline. I mean, if that's what you want to do.
Hey, they're talented guys. I could see them running real well there.
The promotion, not the guys.
Oh, fair enough.
Dynamite. Oh my God. Did you see the sign at the very end of Keith Lee Samoa Joe?
You know I hate signs, so I may have blocked it out.
Don, do you remember a match like this where people tend to what it has been referred to by one Biggie Langston?
Referred to
Like when you have two large guys, that's like a hoss fight. How big?
Yeah. Tell me when you want to say it.
I need to see if Don knows first.
Okay, because I hear different bigger, like big, two hosses like JR and stuff like that, but the big iteration, I don't know.
So Big E likes to refer to it as big meaty men slapping meat.
Okay, no, I don't remember that.
Which he did originally during a live interview, and everything stopped because nobody could keep a straight face.
So we have Keith Lee and Samoa Joe.
Two big boys.
Yeah, and at the end of the match, there was a lady that had a sign that just said, "This vegan loves meat."
Okay. I remember seeing that.
So the only one I saw that like completely turned me off was somebody holding up a sign that said, "The person behind me can't see. You should be kicked out."
That is such an old bit, too.
Yeah, it's like not original and it's stupid.
Bit. And then he had a second side that said, "Try taking this."
I would have.
Yeah.
But he probably wasn't talking to me. He was probably trying to get the alert, the alert, the attention. Let's try that again. The attention of one of the wrestlers. Can't talk today.
As somebody who has almost been thrown out of the Meadowlands for tearing somebody's sign in half, try it in my section.
And then Joe vacates the TV title.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big fan of that.
I was like, you know what? What do I always say? Surprise me. And that surprised me.
Now, if he beat MJF, I could see him going to ROH and saying, "Hey, these two together is too much for one person. I want to show respect to the TV championship. I am, dropping that. I'm vacating it because I have the AEW championship now." I could see him doing that, and that's nobody would debate that. But him out of the blue just saying, "Hey, I'm going to focus everything on this." Go ahead, Alex.
See, and I feel like there was a way that this could have been executed exactly as it was with just a little bit of different terminology to make it make more sense. Of you can't keep defending this and try to focus in other places and give us the reason why, because we've already had double champions in both companies. We've had double champions all over the place. Joe was a double champion at one point, so it doesn't make any sense.
Television.
So at that same time, they need to give us one more thing with it.
I was going to say option C.
I like that. I dig that idea. We've always been big fans of option C.
Which I think that, to me, that's a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like the NW. Is it the national title or the TV title they do that with?
I believe it's the TV title. Because it's been around since before they brought back the national title.
Yeah.
But they may do it with both now. Hold on. Do you want me to text Silas? Just kidding. Oh, come on.
Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, name dropping.
Yeah, there you go. Mariah May equals early Mickie James?
I see the dots you're connecting. I can see where you're going with that. I would think very differently just because I feel like Mickie was originally wrestling, then this, whereas I don't know anything about Mariah May.
Mariah May came from Japan and the NWA.
Oh, no. I'm aware of where she came from, but my concept being is I haven't seen anything from her that tells me not diva to wrestling, but wrestling to diva.
Yeah, but I didn't know who Mickie James was before that bit either.
That's a fair point.
So, Rampage did nothing for me.
When's the last time Rampage has done something for you, though?
Well, they did Rampage live because they did Collision after Rampage this week. And it might have a different move.
Yeah.
But my only Collision note is Andrade's life does not suck. Okay. Quick New Japan note. Very interesting developments last weekend. David Finlay gets involved, ends up destroying both the US and UK belts. And the company has said they are replacing them with a new title. Very soon. They have not said with what and when.
There has been discussion of it being the Intercontinental title since you have two different continents being represented by those belts.
Originally made for MVP.
Correct.
Impact, man, that was an hour and a half of nothing when I watched it on Friday morning. It was, good Lord. Are we just mailing it in until we can get to TNA? Is that what's happening?
Probably.
I think that's what we're doing. Is we're just everything is in holding pattern until we get to Hard to Kill and then ramp.
Like even Joe Hendry couldn't save that show, and I believe in Joe Hendry.
And his bit wasn't that great this week when you think about it.
I agree with you 100%.
He's had better, jabs and everything like that. Just saying, well, now it's no longer Edge, it's Adam,
Mm-hmm.
But he may be, still trying to get over the disillusion of Joya.
Yeah.
I love that tag team.
It was gone too soon, but
so weird.
But in the best of ways. Weird isn't bad.
Some of the best choreography since 3 Count.
Oh, how dare you, sir? Evan Courageous was a harbinger for them.
I went and saw Trolls band together yesterday, so I can talk about boy bands.
That's fair.
Ring of Honor went an hour 47 this week. But I will say at least TV side looked okay. It didn't look as barren as it has.
Do you think that the TV side was helped by the schedule changing that they did this week?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But Rachel, they were talking about Rachel Ellering when she came out, how she's won 2 matches in a row, but her lower third said her ROH record was 1-3.
Maybe the argument is one of them was an AEW match.
And correct me here. It is Angelico, correct?
Depending on which side of the border, I've heard it said both ways, but yes, it's Angelico.
Because Rigatoni and Caprice Coleman kept saying Angelico. I'm like, no, that sounds like it's a theater, but there's also a place right over here that's a restaurant called that. It's Angelico.
I forget where that started, but while he was with Lucha Underground, while he was working with AAA, of course they were saying it correctly. And then somewhere along the lines, they just started saying Angelico. And it's like, that sounds like one of those like weak alcohols that grandma always had for after dinner.
The only person that I would get allowed to get away with that, Nigel. If Nigel called him that, it wouldn't bother me.
You know what? I got one other one that I'd run by you first. And Nigel, 100%. But if it was Jericho doing a Schiavone bit, I could see that rolling with it.
Yes. A Kirk Angel thing.
Exactly.
SmackDown. Congratulations to Carmella and Corey Graves. They have welcomed a son. Mm-hmm. Dimitri Paul Polinsky is his full name. So shout out to those kids.
Absolutely.
I watched SmackDown and Rampage both on Friday night because I knew yesterday was going to be a very busy day and I didn't want to get too far into a wrestling hole, which I wound up putting myself in anyway when I got home today, and we'll talk about why here in a minute. Don, did you enjoy the opening to SmackDown?
What was the part of it again?
Bringing out the guest commentator.
Oh, yeah. He had the tie on and everything.
I didn't find out. When it happened live, I didn't know, because when I normally fill out the run, when I do my run sheet updates, that announcement came on the website. One of the websites I check came after I had done the updates. So I did not know what was coming. And then he sat down and I said, oh dear. And then he marked out for Rey Mysterio, and there was much giggling in my living room. And then I texted Alex, and I was like, have you started this yet? And he knew, but he hadn't gotten to the point where they gave KO the telestrator.
That was funny.
Oh,
you know what?
He's the John Madden of the WWE.
What made it even better was the fact that he did the basic telestration, and then right before they go to break, I can make arrows and circles. We'll be right back. And
yeah,
we come back to him.
He's the John Madden of the WWE.
McAfee did it first.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
But I would say multiple people have done it before.
But KO makes it funny.
But just to hear Kel go, this is all great, but let's go back to this footage from 2 weeks ago.
Yes, last week.
This is so amazing.
See the face here and the face here, and I'm moving so fast, he's already feeling the wind.
And then he gets
I love KO as a wrestler, but I think he has a future as an announcer. And I would rather have him than that guy with the British accent I hate so bad. Any day. But that's not saying much.
I don't mind him.
See, my problem with that is I completely agree with you, but I feel like KO would be more in the vein of Mick Foley as a commissioner, because when he's done wrestling, he's going to want to be home with the kids.
And his name is Kevin Patrick Dunn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's how much I care about him, because I can't stand him as an announcer.
Know thine enemy, sir.
I know.
Did you happen to catch? Now, this is a local reference, so I want to apologize to everybody not in the DFW area, but you'll understand what I mean here in a minute. Did you catch the commercial for SmackDown tickets going on sale?
Yes.
Catch anything interesting about it?
Depends on what you define as interesting, so roll with me.
The person who did the VO.
Who did do the voiceover?
Somebody not even on that show.
I did not catch that.
It was Bex.
Okay. I think I might have been skipping through, if I'm being honest, or I was on the phone.
She doesn't even go there.
She doesn't even go there. Hey, by the time they're here, she might.
We could have a draft between now and then. You're not wrong.
I mean, who's the, or which show is the U.S. title on? Exactly.
Can we get better shades for Dawkins, please?
No, his head's too big.
It's like they stop by 7-Eleven on the way to the arena and go, just throw these on him. And I like him a lot.
I'm mad at him today, but anyways, moving on. But I feel like in wardrobe, they just have all of these random sunglasses that they got from like dollar stores or giveaways or something, and they just pick a random one each time.
I will also say this: Dragon Lee hit that corner rough.
Well, Dragon Lee hits a lot of things rough. Ask Hiromu Takahashi.
I'm just saying. And does anybody else get the feeling that those NFL titles are not selling well?
Not at all.
Especially the Jacksonville.
KO not helping.
I think the Jacksonville one sells the best because it's constantly out of stock, Don.
Yeah.
But my favorite in that same scope is Kevin Owens going, I don't know this team. I don't care, but it's black and gold, so it's like Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, so that'll work.
Mario Lemieux. He said, because I like Mario Lemieux from the same city.
Love that man.
Thanks for biting right onto that bait, Don.
It's not like they're ugly titles. I think the belts look cool. I'm just not willing to shell $400 for one.
I dig it. They've done it uniquely. They just needed to roll it out better.
And my thing is
arena exclusives.
Of that $400, how much of that actually goes to the NFL and the teams? I wonder.
$395.
If we're being totally honest, that's a Fanatics question.
Yeah.
Because part of the reason that came up is because they have the deal with Fanatics, and now so does WWE.
Yep. Which is smart on WWE's part. Let somebody else be the vendor.
Exactly.
You know, they've been putting out some really great Dolphin stuff lately.
Mm-hmm.
That shows up in my Facebook feed because reasons. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something that popped up in my feed, and I was like, that is sharp, and I would wear that. No, I can't remember what it is. Let's see here. All right, Alex, I'm going to give you a would you rather that happened from SmackDown. Would you rather deal with somebody, and Don, I'll even post this to you as well.
Okay.
Would you rather deal with somebody on the floor level holding up a sign, much like the one we talked about earlier, or the guy in the front row at SmackDown with the largest fat head I've seen in years?
Same thing, equally reprehensible. Throw him out.
It's a would you rather. You got to pick one.
Says the guy who refuses to play these games in other formats.
I'm the host.
No offense. When you say fat head, what do you mean by fat head? If I saw one, I'd probably
oversized stickers that go on your walls.
Like okay, that hold the sign of somebody's face or whatever.
Yeah. There was a guy in front row center of SmackDown that had one. I'm not kidding you. That was at least 3 feet wide. At least.
Okay.
What would
Fine.
you rather?
For would you rather, I would rather the person with the sign because at least that took effort rather than the jack. I'm not going to say the full word. Who brought just a thing in,
and in the front row.
Yeah, I would like to, if I had a choice to get rid of one of the two, it'd be the fathead.
Because that wasn't cool, bro. I don't care who you are.
No, anybody sitting that low, blocking people's view, just set their signs on fire. I don't care.
Wow, there wasn't. Okay, so here's the thing I was talking about earlier. I make its conscious effort last night because WoW doesn't start until 11 o'clock here. I had to get up at 6:45 for church. And we were handling some business after church today. We got some new tech in. We had to, I volunteered to help. I'm like, I got to be out of here by 2 because I got to get home. But I'm like, I can get home at 3 o'clock. All I got to watch is WoW, and I'm good. And then I open YouTube TV. Reality of Wrestling returned last night, too. I was like, I can't win. I have literally watched about 45 seconds of football today. I am not kidding.
You want my hot take right now?
Always.
I feel like WoW and Reality of Wrestling could just be dropped from every format.
Well, I just fast forwarded for angle development because I didn't have a lot of time. And plus, it actually is the first new episode of Reality of Wrestling in like 4 months. They haven't done an episode period since late September. And the last 4 weeks of that show were just reruns of past episodes. And not even best of, literal reruns. But it did come back. Production value looks a little bit better for Reality of Wrestling. Audio was terrible.
So we know where the NXT money got invested.
It's the commentators are about what you would expect. It's not great. It's not bad. But even the commentators,
a lot of them sounded like this.
Can we at least get the audio right? Like the arena was not mic'd well. Like when the people in the ring would talk without a microphone, you should at least be able to at least piece together what they're saying. And everything sounded real distorted. Let's get it together in Reality of Wrestling. I really want to like you. Got some good. Chandler was there on this week's episode.
Nice.
He won his match.
As he should. Chandler Hopkins is awesome.
Yep. Great guy. Big fan. Friend of the show. And then we had in your main event, it was the Diamonds Division title on the line. With both ladies on the mat, each one of them with an arm on the other, so double pin. And they have this guy. I'm assuming he's their commissioner, because we all know who's running that, but he's playing heel manager at the same time. So who now vacated that? We have no Diamonds Division champion. He has vacated the title. So you got that going for you.
No resolution, just vacated?
Yep.
Okay, tune in next week to find out, basically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's another new episode. I mean, I'm not saying I have a problem when shows have like 3 or 4 episodes and then they're gone for a month. This really bothers me.
It's hard to stay invested. Oh, did Rob freeze?
No.
Nope. He's just holding.
Yeah, he's holding.
Nobody's picking up what I'm putting down here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow that.
I'll wait.
Sorry, I was queuing something else up. What did I miss?
Wow. I just had this huge speech about not liking shows that have 3 or 4 episodes and then they're gone for a month at a time. Nothing.
I'm trying to figure some other company like that. I can think of it.
No, that's your average podcast. That's what he's talking about, probably.
Oh, that's us right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
I was being nondescript.
Weeks after this episode, because next week is Dallas Comic Show. Then I'm gone on vacation for 2 weeks, and then I might be gone the week after that. That's up in the air right now.
Like us.
Wasted on you people. Just remember, kids, our seasons start WrestleMania Sunday. This is the 16th episode of this season.
We're there for the kids part of the time.
But no, we're not. That's the problem.
Part of the time. Been there since WrestleMania. Been there for the kids 16 times. Part of the time.
We're the Sex Panther of podcasts.
60% of the time, we work every time.
Okay.
Don, do you know that reference?
No.
It's from Anchorman. No, don't know. No, that's okay. That one's okay, Alex, because
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised.
It's from Anchorman.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the cologne.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
From Anchorman. Yeah.
Okay.
Where some of the descriptions of what that smelled like are some of the funniest things I've ever heard.
And there is allegedly a 40-minute cut of that.
Oh, I would love that. I need that queued up for when I'm having a rough day. I want that mega cut just queued up, ready to go at any given moment. Oh, that reminds me. I need to send Don that YouTube link I sent you.
Mm-hmm. The
Don,
knockoff James Bond?
No. The one before that, the update on Epic Universe.
Ah, yes.
Don, you'll be very interested in this.
Okay.
Universal is expanding in Florida, and it's called Epic Universe. And there's one piece of this you're going to be very interested in.
It's a Universal. Okay.
At Universal Florida.
Okay.
We'll talk about it here in a minute. Okay. Anything else before we do the plugs?
Okay, I don't know if you brought this up when I was out earlier on my having to do the reboot.
Okay.
I saw on the thing the Perth show in Australia.
We did not talk about elimination.
Okay. The tickets say start time is 5:30 p.m., which with the pre-show and everything like that is probably going to be 7. So it's going to be probably a 7 p.m. start for the show because tickets say starting at 5:30 p.m.
And that's 6 a.m. here.
No, that is that would be 5 here with the time change.
When I looked it up, it was 5. It was 3:30.
Yeah, but when it starts, the show starts at 7. Probably
it'll be about 5.
Yeah, so 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 4 a.m. on the Pacific Coast.
You know, the funny thing is, that's been sitting in the private chat just in case you wanted to pull it.
Oh, see, my problem is I'm always in the regular chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Alex put it up.
I didn't want to interrupt and break anything up. Or
like 2 minutes ago, Alex put that in there, Don. So I think you were saying at the same time he was typing it.
Yeah. So it's
we actually did not cover that, but I did not know that. And
wow. I actually pulled the actual image of their start time on Saturday and everything to have it ready.
And they probably have an hour and a half pre-show, stuff like that. And then
that's probably a half hour to get in. Then they do the kickoff from 6 to 7. And then 7 o'clock, here we go.
So the question then becomes, let's do another Would You Rather.
I don't exist at this time.
Would you rather get up at the crack of dawn to watch this live, or do everything in your power to avoid social media and do it whenever? Because that's the only thing I don't trust about it, because I have fallen victim to this multiple times, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Disney Plus or whatever the still image that represents the program, when that winds up being a spoiler, that's one of the worst feelings ever. Because it's like, I've worked so hard to not get this ruined for me, and you idiots did it.
Okay, I'll say this. It's on a Saturday, so let's say you wake up at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. You want to throw it on before you look at Facebook. You could throw it on. Maybe watch the main event last, and then go back and watch the other stuff from the beginning. You could do that too.
But you'd have to time it right, Don, though, because remember, if you just woke up and watched the main event, then what happens right after that?
That's when you turn off the TV, you go to the bathroom after the main event ends.
No montage about everything that happened.
I know, but again, you could close it.
I'm always fascinated how they get that put together so quickly. That is absolutely amazing. How
I know, but again, if you wake up and you watch the main event's on, you watch the main event, turn the TV off, come back 20 minutes later, start the thing from the beginning, or you could do the start from beginning option. You could do that too.
My personal opinion, you do the start from the beginning the moment you start watching, or you just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But as the person who has gotten up at 3 a.m. to watch New Japan pay-per-views, to watch Wrestle Kingdoms, to do all of that, I don't want to get up. But if you find a way to put some matches on that card, to put some stuff together of the level of a Wrestle Kingdom or a Dontaku, I may get up.
It's a slim.
It's not likely.
Nation Chamber, though.
What's that?
It's the last plea before Mania.
You're not going to have a title change.
I will
on the big one.
Depends on
how you say that, but
how
did Bray Wyatt win his first?
Yeah, it depends on how Elimination Chamber works, because the original Elimination Chamber was for the title.
Yeah, I know.
Most of them are. Most of them were in some form or another.
But I'll tell you what intrigues me. I know we're running over time. It does intrigue me because it's a Saturday morning of going back to being a kid again and just getting up, getting a bowl of cereal in my pajamas and sitting in. Oh, actually, I had to sit in the guest room because I couldn't watch it in the living room because my wife wouldn't be awake for another 7 hours. And just watching TV. There's something about that.
But cartoons started at 7, not 6.
It depends on where you are, Don. Because
for me, it started at 7 in the mountain.
You're right. You're up by 6, and you watch the national anthem, and you watch the old school cartoons before the new ones come on.
I was watching at 7 when it started with us in Mountain Time.
Alex,
there'll be 5 there.
Alex,
6 and 6. Go ahead,
Alex.
Are we sure?
I'm trying to get to you.
Oh, I know, but it continued. But so let me put it in this concept for you. You turn on beginning from start Elimination Chamber, and it comes up with the old WWF Superstars graphics and goes through it into the modernizing, and then we start the show.
Don,
You're welcome, Internet.
So
what's that?
You want to say it, Don? You want me to say it?
Go ahead.
I need a strike that, reverse it moment, because you referred to it as beginning from start.
Right, because that's what the Peacock button says.
No, it's called start from beginning.
They must have changed that in an update then.
To
I
me,
swear it's begin at the start.
Riveting stuff.
Watch from start.
I was just waiting for that Willy Wonka moment of strike that, reverse it. It's one of the best movies of all time. I don't care what anybody says. The original. Thank you very much. One of the very few books I've read multiple times. Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
All right, let's do the plugs, and then we got to take the break because we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about on the other show. And Alex will have to carry most of the first segment because I watched 45 seconds of football all day. Make sure you follow us on all your social medias. Everything is the Cheap Popcast. Oh, if we're going to take a break, let's just have the chaos that has been this show. Everything is the Cheap Popcast. TikTok's going to happen at some point. I have to learn. I need to learn how to TikTok. I'm old and I can't figure it out. Also, the website is coming. You can follow me on all your social media if you like. Everything is yes, that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Popcast. So what you're going to be looking for is that logo right there. Nice. If you happen to have any suggestions that you would like to see on the store, or even any just alterations, or you're an artist who has some ideas, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
And that URL to get those awesome shirts that make me look good, ProWrestlingTees.com/cheap-podcast, and at Twitter, I'm Edic Voodoo, IGBN, UUU.
Also including friend of the show, Kevin Koa, who has been doing big things in Arizona. Respect to Don wearing the shirt.
Thank you.
I don't have that shirt.
You have a different one.
Oh, I do? Okay. And I still have Don's birthday present.
We'll get to that next show.
What do we have, like 17 crates to go through at this point?
Yeah.
You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand, talk about your local promotion. I am Rob at thecheappopcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. And I get to see her on Monday. I'm very excited to spend some time with my sister. Our normal show, Sunday nights or afternoons, depending on who you are, at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is the Clubhouse Podcast. We'll see you next month at some point. We will still break news on our social media, so follow us. Alex has done a phenomenal job on that, just as he does with our social media, which I greatly appreciate. So until next time, whenever that next time may be, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. This has been the Cheap Popcast. Good night, everybody.